Hey everybody, my name is Josiah Neuman. I'm the training director here at Neuman K-9 Academy, and today we're going to be talking about how to housebreak your dog. The first step towards having a housebroken dog is to condition them to sleep in one spot when we're not home. That way they're not roaming around looking for things to chew on, having accidents, or getting into mischief. The right age and stage to begin this conditioning process is the day they come home. And that's because if we allow them to roam around and get into these destructive behaviors when we're not home, then it becomes part of their behavior pattern. And so by preventing it altogether, it never even becomes part of their routine. I like a dog to be at least a year or older before I begin the next step. And that's because by the time they become a year or older, we will have had approximately 8 to 10 months worth of crate training. If you are bringing a dog home that is an adult, perhaps you rescued it, then you're going to want to have at least 4 to 6 months worth of good crate training before you move on to the next step. The dog-proof room is going to be a room that has a hard surface floor, and you want to remove anything in the room that the dog could get into, like a wastebasket, pair of shoes, something like that. So it's a dog-proof room where they're going to get to sleep and hang out when you're not home. And I like to also have the crate in the room with the crate door open, so that way if they want to rest in the crate, which we've already conditioned them to doing, they're going to have access to it. A couple of tips that I'll give you beyond having the crate in the room is going to be have something that they can chew on, something that's safe for them to chew on when you're not home. I like to use a Kong. I also like to have a talk radio on in the room, so that way it's going to drown out background noise. And also, if you can purchase one, they're not too expensive these days, but get a Wi-Fi camera. And that way when you're not home, you can see and monitor what your dog is doing. After the dog has gone for a couple of months using the dog-proof room, if they're not having accidents, they're not chewing on things, and they are resting in one spot, then you can slowly give them access to one more room at a time in the home. During the crate training process, or as you're conditioning them to the dog-proof room, you may have a couple of setbacks. The first is they may have an accident, whether they poop or pee in the crate or in the dog-proof room. A couple of ways you can prevent this is very easily give them a bathroom break right before you leave the house. Secondly, feed them at a certain time of day, give them access to water at certain times of the day, but do not give them access to food or water when they're in the crate or in the dog-proof room. After a dog eats or drinks shortly thereafter, they're going to need a bathroom break. The second thing that can happen is they may show signs of separation anxiety or they might not be resting. So if this is the case, you should give them plenty of exercise before they're going into the crate. So if you work at 8 o'clock in the morning, get them out an hour beforehand and get them tired. This is only going to help them rest throughout the daytime. And when they're going to be coming out of the crate, you want to take them directly outside to give them a bathroom break and give them some more exercise. Some dogs may never become completely housebroken. That means they might not have free access to roam in the house. And this comes from a couple of different reasons. The first is you may have a dog that has a higher activity level. This is a dog that just naturally is not going to rest in one spot. They're curious creatures that are moving around and want something to be doing if they have that extra space. A dog like that may rest just fine in the crate, but when you leave them loose, they're not going to settle. The second thing is they may have a previous history of self-reinforced behaviors or successes getting into things that they're not supposed to. And we can't undo the past. So if your dog has had enough fun in the house or has, and I say that jokingly, but if they have gotten into things and have destroyed things in the past, this just might be something that sticks with them. And so if they are left with free access, they're going to go roaming and getting into stuff that they're not supposed to. So again, that's why we use the crate as a positive place to be. And if you have a dog that is not going to have full roam in the house, that's okay too. The crate is a safe space that they'll always have access to chew on something in. And I also like to use the crate with my own dogs, even in their adult stages of life, being totally housebroken, because there may come a point in time where I'm going to need to use that crate. So I hope you found these tips helpful. Please feel welcome to comment below if you have any questions, and thanks for tuning in.